Like the video, engage with the content, like, share, subscribe. It's Burn It Down with Kim Brown. We're talking about a variety of things here, but this story coming out of Atlantic City, New Jersey, where the Atlantic City mayor and his wife have been accused of physically and emotionally abusing their teenage daughter. And they have actually now are now facing some legal consequences behind these allegations of physically abusing their daughter. And there's a couple things about the story that jumped out at me. We're going to actually going to check out a package about it here in a moment. But these are the Smalls, okay? Mayor Smalls and his wife Laquetta Smalls. And part of what jumped out about me about this story was a couple things. These people are my age, okay? These are a black man and a black woman, one mayor of Atlantic City, the other, the superintendent, the first ever black woman superintendent of schools in that area. And they are in their mid 40s. They are parents to two children, a boy and a girl, and they have and the girl is a teenager. And apparently this young girl made admissions to several folks, or people knew that she said that she was experiencing physical and emotional abuse at the hands of her well-known parents in the area. And nothing was done. Nobody lifted a finger to help this young lady until the list of people that she had told had grown too long, and finally something was done about it, right? So let's get caught up on the story from NBC 10 out of Philadelphia. Because it's wild to me that in 2024, Gen X parents, even though maybe I shouldn't be surprised, though I do find it wild and troubling, but Gen X parents raised by boomers are still out here trying to physically discipline their children of any age, but you're trying to put hands, I mean, like fists and shit on teenagers? This young woman says her father and her mother both abused her physically. So let's get the details from this package from NBC 10 out of Philadelphia.
Affidavit details serious allegations of physical and emotional abuse by Atlantic City Mayor Marty Small and his wife, Atlantic City School Superintendent Laquetta Small. Documents say they started attacking their 16-year-old daughter in December of 2023 and January of this year. They allege it all started because they were angry with her relationship with a boy and she refused to stop seeing him. The mayor is accused of making terroristic threats. In one instance, the affidavit states on January 3rd, the 50-year-old told his daughter, "Don't make me hurt you. I'm gonna hurt you. I'll smack the weave out your head. I'm going to earth slam her down the steps." 10 days later, he's accused of hitting her several times with a broom in the head and knocking her unconscious. According to investigators, the boyfriend witnessed some of the abuse through live video chat.
We're dealing with a family matter. We've been dealing with DCP&P, who has been excellent. We're going through family therapy and all. And that's what this should be, is a family matter.
This was the mayor a few weeks ago, responding in general to his home being raided and any allegations of wrongdoing. His wife, Laquetta, according to documents, is accused of punching her daughter in the chest, causing bruising, and dragging her by her hair and beating her with a belt on her shoulders. The mayor's lawyer released a statement to NBC 10 saying, "The charges filed by the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office today make no claims of public corruption or misconduct in office or any failure by Mayor Small to properly discharge his responsibilities as mayor of Atlantic City. On the contrary, they focus only on personal, private, family matters." The documents say the teen would eventually tell a therapist about the abuse after going through mental health training at her high school. They say a worker at the school would also become aware of the allegations. Weeks ago, investigators arrested former principal Constance Days Chapman for failing to notify the right agencies when a student told her they were being emotionally and physically abused by her parents. At the time, Small said she was innocent of the charges. Voters are now responding to the new accusations. If these allegations become true, do you think they both should lose their jobs as superintendent and mayor?
I mean, I'm not here to judge no one, but if it was anybody else, I mean, are they going to get a special treatment? We don't know.
We, of course, tried reaching out to the school district, but never heard back. When we reached Marty Small through text and asked him if he would talk to us or add a comment, he simply wrote back, nope. In Atlantic City, Aaron Baskerville.
NBC 10 Philadelphia there with the story. So let me just say this off the break and sort of, at least make this acknowledgement, because as we are seeing kind of with Marilyn Mosby now facing some sort of punishment for her federal convictions off some paperwork shit, right? Looking for some leniency from the Biden administration. Is it possible that the Smalls, Mayor Marty Smalls and his wife LaQuetta are being targeted for some sort of political smear campaign, something to embarrass them? I don't know their popularity or lack thereof in Atlantic City. I don't even really know the politics of Atlantic City. So I just wanted to put that out there, because a lot of times what our folks will tend to do is like, they just trying to take down that black man and his wife, and they just trying to raise their daughter, and she probably had it. Like it's usually a lot of, excuse making, because it's not an outlandish thought or suggestion that the system could be weaponized against black people, right? Of any status. So that's feasible. I just wanted to acknowledge that could be a thing. But here's why I don't think it's a thing, though, because then the child would have to be outright lying, right? And do teenagers lie and make up stories? They sure can. They sure will. But do they tell a bunch of other people in order to implicate and broaden the story? Not likely. Not saying it's impossible, not likely. The other details about this story as it pertains to this young woman. So, as alleged in the affidavit, the charging documents say that the abuse started December of 2023 when she began seeing a boy that her parents didn't like, right? Well, let me just say this. Had she started seeing a girl, I bet you this young woman would be homeless along with being beaten, okay? Because the gay teens got it way worse, okay? So imagine this is a hetero child. Their parents didn't like the boy she liked, right? If she had been gay, she'd have been beat and put the fuck out the house. I just wanted to say that. But so the parents didn't like the boy that she liked, okay? I was hearing not much else pertaining to this child's behavior, right? Further reporting, I believe by NBC 10, indicated that the child was proficient in school, was not described to have any other behavioral issues, right? So it seems like her parents' only problem is that they did not like the boy that she was seeing. As you heard in the affidavit, the boy said that he witnessed some of the abuse via FaceTime video chat, but his mother also said that the daughter, the child, the alleged abused child here, disclosed to her that she was experiencing physical and emotional abuse from her parents. The girl also alleges that her parents call her names like dumb and stupid, right? And make her to feel as though she is not going to amount to much, I suppose, because she's not knocking it out the box in the Jack and Jill playbook. I'm not sure. For those who don't know what Jack and Jill is a social organization created by bougie black folks in order for their progeny, other bougie black kids, to be introduced and socialized to other bougie black kids so they can have a little bougie black utopia. I don't fucking know. I make fun of Jack and Jill ass niggas, by the way. We mock Jack and Jill, but regardless. So the child was being berated, being called names at home, being abused at home, says the kid. So how did the principal get into this? Why is the principal now facing charges, right? So allegedly the daughter had disclosed directly to the principal that her parents were hitting her, okay? And the principal, I don't envy the position that she was in, because as the principal of the high school there in Atlantic City, the daughter's mother, Laquetta Smalls, is the superintendent of Atlantic City schools. So the principal had information basically about her boss allegedly abusing her daughter. And what the prosecutors allege is that the principal sat on this information for a period of time, right? Before disclosing to Child Protective Services or whomever. And we all know educators are mandated reporters, right? And and for reasons, this principal chose not to report that this child was experiencing abuse. I suppose I'm only speculating here, in an attempt to protect her boss, or maybe even to protect her own job, right? But now you in trouble because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. I know that's your boss, but you are bound by law. You supposed law. The law says that you get in trouble if you have knowledge of abuse and you don't say nothing. Now you in trouble, right? The Principal Constance. Now Principal Constance is in trouble for the shit. But y'all, let me say this. What jumped out at me, and let me say this, this again, the Smalls have denied all allegations, etc. They say they've not done this. They say this is a private family matter, which I disagree with, right? But hold on, before I disagree with the private family matter, let me say this. There's several things that jumped out, but one of the things that jumped out to me about this story is that how Black girls are let down at every level, right? You would look at this bourgeois family as a, look at the intact family. Oh, the father's the mayor, the mother's the superintendent. They got a boy and a girl. I think their combined household income is also around $250,000, $300,000, doing well, right? Nice and middle class, solidly middle class, right? Upper, some would even say upper middle class, right? Look at how even when you control for class, household income, two-parent household, look at how the system still failed this Black girl. Look, we see it all the time with poor Black children, with children who come from single parent households. But when we see a Black girl coming from this specific family dynamic setting, this socioeconomic setting, this level of higher education setting, we don't think that them girls would be let down by the system, even when they speak up, even when they're trying to make others aware of the abuse that they're experiencing. Even rich Black girls get let down by the system out here. That was the first thing that hopped out at me. The other thing that hopped out at me, Marty and Laquetta, motherfucking 45, 46, 47 years old. Why y'all still out here putting hands and feet on your children? We know the lasting psychological damage that physical abuse, corporal punishment, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse has on children, right? And when I hear Gen X doing this dumb shit still in 2024, I just got to shake my head and say, you niggas is the goofiest niggas on earth. Like, y'all, we come from an era in which our parents and our grandparents in some cases, like we are switch years old. You feel me? Go out there in the yard and go get your switch. What? The first time my granny told me to go pick my switch, I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying, Granny. Do what? Pick my own switch. This sounds against my own self-preservation. I disagree with this, Granny. Can we talk about that? Can we have a discussion? Right? So Gen X, I would think, is got to be hyper aware of all the generational shit that we experienced, right? And I would hope that we would take those experiences and do better with our own children. But when I hear that this teen girl is getting punched, and again, maybe I need more details, because I mean, are you punching the teen daughter because she punched you? Like, I need to know the order of punches. Now, if the teen girl is throwing punches, well, well, that's a different story, right? If your child wants to square up, you may have to oblige them. And I'm talking about a comparably sized child, not your fucking 8-year-old. Okay. Like, if the child is y'all about the same height, weight, and the child wants to square up, you might have to oblige them and just, just to set the boundary. But do you provoke or instigate a physical confrontation with your child with fists? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's abuse. That is doing permanent harm and damage to your own baby, okay? Who's already got to go out here in the world and experience misogynoir and experience harassment and experience racism. They already got to go out in the world and deal with that shit. Now they got to come home and worried about, is my mama going to smack me today? Is my mama going to punch me in the chest? Is my daddy going to tell me he's going to smack the weave out my head? Is he going to hit me upside the head with a broom until I lose consciousness? And we need to be having these conversations. Parents, y'all need to be having these conversations with each other. And if you are aware that you have friends or your family members are like literally beating their children, at least you need to have a conversation. Do I suggest calling the cops? Actually, I do not. Because involving the police usually is not going to improve or ameliorate the situation in any way. They don't help shit, okay? Excuse me, somebody's in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So regardless, no, I don't recommend calling the police, but I do recommend having a firm conversation. And yeah, I know some parents are going to tell you to fuck all the way off, right? You don't tell me how to raise my kid. You don't tell me what goes on in my household. And if that's the case, I would ask that you just try to make yourself available to the child in any way. Again, I am very iffy and icky about involving the police in these situations, right? And I'm hoping that's not coming across as hypocritical, because I'm like, these people are going to face accountability. That's because the child disclosed to somebody, right? So anyway, it's a fucked up situation that we actually still need to have these conversations about child abuse in 2024. I know everybody's all woke. Everybody woke and know better, but apparently everybody is not knowing better out here. And if they do know better, they are not doing better, right? And we have to believe young people when they disclose to us. Are you sure your dad he hit you upside the head with a broom, baby? Like, I can hear the incredulity from an adult who is finding it hard to believe that the mayor hit his daughter upside the head with a broom. But guys, child abuse especially happens irrespective of class, okay? I know people just think it's the poor black mother or the poor woman of color, with her 6 kids by 8 guys and she beating her kids because the fathers ain't around. No, rich white kids get their asses kicked too. Okay. Y'all remember it was a movie, but it was a book at first. Mommy Dearest. Y'all remember Mommy Dearest? Some of y'all might be too young and some of y'all might be, no, you're definitely not too old. For Mommy Dearest, about the adopted daughter of actress Joan Crawford. This woman was a Looney Tune. She was doing all kinds of terrible things to this little girl behind closed doors, and then dressing her up in the Shirley Temple curls when it's time to, to go out there and be public. And speaking of that kind of display, we saw this a little bit in the clip, but after the allegations came out against Mayor Smalls and his wife, he and she held a press conference where they made their children, including the teen daughter, the victim, they made their children stand there at the podium while they gave a press conference asserting their innocence. I said, wow, this child, please and I'm not even saying this to be facetious or to be funny. I'm saying this dead ass. Like, please keep this child in prayer. Like, please send vibrations of protection and strength to this little girl, because what I was not clear for the mayor and his wife to face these charges was, is the little girl still in the home? You know what I mean? And she very well might be still in the home, but I I don't see how or why that happens. If both parents are accused of abusing her, I don't see how she stays there. But again, I don't can't speak to the particulars. Unfortunately, guys, I don't really have good solutions to offer up if you suspect a child is being abused. Because again, you think you're doing the right thing by calling the police, but what happens then? It triggers an investigation. I suppose we want investigations, but at the same time, per this channel and per the political education that we received from the Stop Child Protective Services organization led by one Amanda Wallace, please follow Stop CPS on Instagram. We've received the political education that Child Protective Services often does not operate in the best interests of the child. In fact, it does more damage to children, even those that find themselves in potentially harmful situations at home. The foster care system ends up harming the kids even way more. So I don't think calling the police if is necessarily the best option unless you're ready for what comes after that, for the child to be removed, etc. I think we need to have conversations with our folks and educate them, guide them, help to advise them, that the reason that we don't hit our kids in 2024 is because we want them to be emotionally stable adults. We don't want them to deal with anxiety, to deal with depression, to deal with that 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 sense of insecurity that children who survive physical and emotional abuse experience as adults. So that's the best reason not to hit your fucking kids. You don't want them to be fucked up adults. So you can put it to them just like that. Well, how else am I going to do it? But do you want them to be fucked up? No. Okay. Figure out another way. Stop hitting them. We can get you some resources, some parenting classes, some therapy, some guidance, right? So anyway, I want to send love to that young woman. I'm so sorry that your parents, I keep saying allegedly, young lady. I say this because I have to cover myself from a legal perspective, but I believe you. And I'm sorry that that happened to you at the hands of your mother and father. And I hope that they are getting the help that they need. And I hope you get the help that you need so you can heal and recover and be whole. But you are not dumb. You are not stupid. In fact, you are extremely brave for speaking up and advocating for yourself. So God bless you.